Hey there. So we've been talking about westward expansion. It started with our area that's the original 13 colonies that we won from the British in the Revolutionary War. And then we annexed this area all the way to the Mississippi River. So if you follow it down, all right. The next thing we were able to purchase was the Louisiana Territory, and we purchased that from the French. Then our last lesson was about Lewis and Clark taking this route to explore throughout the West to see what kind of things were there. Plants, animals. They were trying to find a waterway to the ocean, which they didn't find because it doesn't exist. They met some Native American tribes along the way. Luckily, they only lost one man, and it wasn't from injury from fighting. It was because his appendix burst. So where we're at today is we're trying to look at gaining Florida, okay, down here. And Florida is currently in the possession of the Spanish. So if we go to today's reading, it says a Florida acquisition in 1819. So we're already in 1819. And it says in the reading, in the early 1800s, most of the land we know today as Florida was under Spanish rule. Americans in the Southeast wanted this land. Slave owners in Georgia were angry because some of the slaves were escaping to Florida. Often the runaways hid with the Seminoles, a tribe of American Indians. Some runaway slaves even became members of the tribe. Also upsetting were the raids or attacks by the Seminoles on the settlements in Georgia. The Seminoles made these raids out of fear that the white settlers would eventually attack them. In 1817, General Andrew Jackson marched his army into Florida and ended the Seminole raids. He captured 2 Spanish forts, including one at Pensacola, the capital of Spanish Florida. President James Monroe did not fully support General Jackson's actions, but Monroe wanted Florida, so he did not stop Jackson. Spain soon realized that it could not defend its land from the U.S. attacks. In 1819, Spain agreed to give Florida to the United States. In return, the United States would agree to give $5 million to the settlers in payment for slaves lost and property damaged in the Seminole raids. Within 10 years, many Americans had moved to Florida. The U.S. government ordered the Seminoles to leave, but many refused. The tribe fought one more war against the United States before most of its members were either killed or forced to move west. So, as you can see, there were some effects on the people living in Florida when the United States gained control of it. Mainly the Native Americans is who we're referring to. We're going to see over and over again in this unit that the Native Americans and some other groups, including the Mexicans, were very negatively impacted by the settlements going westward. Okay, it told you in the reading how they ended up getting Florida, and it will ask you today in your Google form as well how that happened. All right, so it talks about how General Jackson went in, and we're not going to hear the last of him by any means in Florida. He's going to keep on going in and taking things, and then kind of fought with the Spanish. And then what ended up happening is the Spanish realized that they could not defend their territory from the United States. The United States gave $5 million to settlers because of the loss of slaves and property damaged in the raids, and that was that. So the next thing we're going to learn about is how we continue to get land off in the West. Stay tuned.